The proposed mandate has no penalties for employees who decide to abuse a sick leave policy. Let's repeat that. No penalties for employees. There are only penalties for employers. They can receive up to treble damages. They can be sued in court. They will have to pay court costs. There are changes in the general competitive competition level that will occur because of sick leave, particularly for employers who give some form of sick leave. Remember, this mandate says that up to 7 days of sick leave must be given. Suppose an employer gives typically now 4. Well, that's an increase in 3 days that are required. So it's going to require changes in bookkeeping costs. It's going to require management costs. The management costs and bookkeeping costs are included in the model. There's a small cost in the nature of $700 to $1,000, depending on the industry, that's included by firm size. But these are not insignificant costs. The sales losses, very, very important. Again, small firms through a multiplicative model are shown to lose sales. If you look at even the smallest firms that are supposedly exempt from the mandate, they lose an average of $7,000 in sales. And we're looking at firms with 1 to 4 employees, typically. Well, losing 1% of your sales, if your profits are only 3 or 4%, can not only cause a loss, but in some cases that may be the final straw that makes someone go out of business. And we don't know how many of those there will be, but there'll probably be some. Ohio's unemployment rate has jumped recently from 6.6 to 7.2%, compared to about 5.6, 5.7% at the national level. It's a very, very serious consequence to be imposing mandates on a state whose unemployment rate is already significantly above average. It's likely to go possibly higher through mandates of this kind. And frankly, through surveys that NFIB has taken over the years, 98%, let me repeat that, 98% of employees who need paid time off get it. They simply tell their bosses they have a doctor's appointment, a meeting, etc., and they're just told to make up the time or absorb it. So we don't need this mandate. It'll be costly, it can cost jobs, it will cost sales, and in some cases it may put small firms over the edge. One of the things that's shown in the handout is that the largest impact disproportionately, which simply means if you compare the percentage of job loss to the percentage of jobs in a given firm size category, you'll find that the biggest index, which is basically jobs lost divided by jobs, is in the smallest firms with under 10 employees. That's kind of surprising to people because the people that formed this legislation, initially wrote the proposed legislation, believed that small firms with under 25 employees would be exempt, and therefore there would be no costs. That, folks, is a myth. It really and truly is a myth. And what we hope to study, and it is the first of its kind, to find that we took a difficult and hard look, trying to be as conservative as possible, to see what the effects would be on small businesses when they supposedly were exempt. But because of the major impact on larger firms and the cutbacks that larger firms would have to make, the impacts, in fact, on small firms are significant. If the Honda plant in Marysville, Ohio, has to give up a certain number of jobs or cut production a certain amount, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that many of the small firm suppliers will be hit. And many of those small firm suppliers, in fact, can only respond by laying people off, cutting overtime, cutting vacation, or cutting existing sick leave if they have it.